Welcome back, everybody. So here we are, the last part of issue 8. Hopefully, this gets done in a single video. We're going to be cutting out the seat backs. Now, it's showing that if you need to fill some in, go ahead and do it while it's on the sprue. So I'm hoping that we're not going to have to. But then as you cut them out of the sprue, trim up the edges so that way they sit better together. It's telling you like line them up and all that kind of fun stuff, right? So after we get it put together, then we'll sit this down in there. But first we're going to test fit the whole thing, right? That's one of the things it tells us to do here. So we're going to get these cut out. We're going to test fit it. And I'm not going to worry about filling in any of the backs just yet because I'm hoping I'm not going to have to. So let's go ahead and cut all of these out. We'll see how that ends up working out for us. Okay. So you'll notice that we have two different types here. Let me bring this up. So you have the bigger cushions, and then we have these smaller cushions. Okay. They're already colored for me. Now, the lights I have in here, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did change up some lights back here. Previously, I was just using this, well, let me see if I can bring it down into view. I was just using this thing. So this is one of those magnifying glasses, right? So you can see, but it's also got a light on it. This is what I was using before. Now, I've very specifically got some lights to set up there to try to use for this, and hopefully that helps relieve some of the glare that I was getting. But it seems very bright, so this looks, at least on the monitor that I'm using, looks very light, and the coloring looks very dark. Now, granted, the coloring is pretty dark, but it looks just like black on there, but it's not quite black. It's just like a real dark gray in person. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out. I'm not going to go clear up to the edge. I'll leave just a little bit just so I can clean those up, and we'll go from there. And I'm going to go ahead and clip out all of these because why not? I don't know how many I'm going to need, and so I don't want to have to come back later. I want to take everything I need to the job site when I go. So, and like I said, I'm going to try to avoid having to fill in any of the backs. So as you can see, I can show you here. So the backs are completely hollow. There's the front, there's the back, completely hollow. That would look like crap hanging out so you could see the inside of it. The funny thing is they acknowledge that it would look like crap. They suggest you fill it with putty. So if they're going to go through all that, why don't they just go ahead and like give you some seat backs or something for it? I don't know. I don't know if you guys heard that, but big old thud just now. Our dogs are upstairs playing, and one of the things they like to do is they jump into my recliner and like use it as a springboard to run back down the hallway. So have one dog chasing another dog, and sometimes when they jump into the recliner, they do it with such great force that it nearly flips over, and when it comes back down, it makes this huge thud. Also, I don't know if you guys can hear them running up and down the floor there. They did it. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so the rest of this is piping that we're going to be putting on. I believe those will be external stuff. No, actually, this might be along the walls. Take that back. This could be stuff that goes along the walls and inside. So that would be interesting. So even these smaller pieces are hollow, and so we'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, so what I'm going to do, get out these sanding sticks, and I'm going to sand these down, smooth off the spots, and make it so that they'll go together better. And we'll come back after that and see how things go. So I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me sand these down, right? So if you guys ever decide you want to see me just sit here and sand these things and then, have to talk to you while I'm doing it, then just let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to do that, although some of the stuff I talk about may end up being some pretty crazy stuff, because after a while you kind of run out of things to talk about, particularly if you're talking specifically about, uh, you know, Star Wars or the model, or, building models or something like that. A lot of stuff I talk about. Ooh, look there. It's stuff that just kind of relates to whatever I'm working on at that time. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll see you when I get back and done with this. Okay, we are back. Everything is smoothed off and all that kind of fun stuff. So, as you can see, we have longer ones and shorter ones, and we alternate, right? So here's where we're going to run into a bit of a problem. So I'm going to stick these in there, see how they fit, and I'll point out where we're going to run into a bit of a problem. One, we're going to run into a bit of a problem trying to test fit these. You can see that we're getting there. Other than the fact that they keep falling out, it's going well. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep chugging along. And now that when I go to glue these in, I think what I'll do is I'll glue one in, and I'm not going to put them in until I actually set this on the base. So when I put this on the base here, then I'll actually glue them in, I think. I think that's how I'm going to do it. So, there's this. Now, here's the problem that we have. And this is where I have a decision to make. Okay? So, if you can see, there's still a slight little hole there. So then the question is, do I leave that blank? Right? Do I just leave that empty? And then on here, these are all the ones that actually will be in there. On here, let's just stick this on and we'll dry fit it there. We'll be back after this is all kind of set up. Okay, so they're all test fit in there. So here's a question. Do we just leave this cushion like this? Right? Do we leave this short and then have that gap? Or do I try to figure out a way to put another cushion there? If I do put another cushion, I can tell you right now, it's going to end up being one of these small ones, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. But what do you think? It looks pretty cool. So if I put another small one in there, I'd have to cut that plastic a little bit just to put another small one in there. And then the small one will stick out a little ways. And I have to admit, I'm not terribly interested in that either. So I'm inclined just to leave it like that. I don't have a problem with it. And I don't even think I need to fill that little gap in there. I think that's fine. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start gluing these things in place. And some of these fit in really well. Some of them not so well. So maybe I need to find the ones that fit better than others. Like these ones right here don't seem to fit very well. There we go. Jeez. All right. So I'm going to get this figured out, see if there's ones that fit better than others and all that kind of stuff. And then I will be back after I've glued them all in place. All right. Okay, so I was going to glue these and found out that I was out of glue. So apparently all this extra glue that I kept using used up too much. So I'm just going to start with a drop of glue, and then I'll just add glue as I need it because I'm not interested in wasting the glue. So let's go ahead and get started. I was going to do this off camera and then just show you the final result, I think. But, well, then I decided that I wanted to show you this. So what I did was I took them out and I put them in order in which they go. So that will allow me to put them back in the order that they fit best. So what I'm going to do is I will add the glue here and then just put the piece in and we'll move on from there. So after I put one in, I'll hold it and make sure that it stays and then put the next one in. There's probably a couple of ways that you could add the glue. So you could put it down there like I am, which I think would work or does work. Or let's try this. Or you could put it on here, right? So you could add some glue to this and put this in. See how well this works. Now I'm not gluing them down to the back piece because I don't really see that as necessary as long as I get them held down and everything the way I want them. All right. And you can see some of them, like this one in particular, is not sitting clear against the back. But for the most part, we're not going to be looking straight down at it when it's all in there. So I'm not terribly concerned about that. There we go. All right. That one looks like it could have gone down a little bit more in that corner, but looks pretty cool, I think. Now there was something I was going to do additional to this, but with the coloring of this, I don't see where that's going to be necessary. So I'm going to show a picture if I can find one here, and this picture will show that there's these little controls or something on these cushions, and I was going to put those controls in there. I was going to paint those on just to kind of add a little bit of extra something. But with all the coloring that's on these, I don't see where that would be beneficial. I don't think that I could add anything. Plus, the detail was going to be so small that I was going to have to be very precise with how I did that, and I just don't see that happening. So there we go. There is the seat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some drops of glue on these three here, and that'll hold the actual seats in place. So let me add another drop of glue here. There we go. Get that sealed up nice and tight because that will dry out if we're not careful. So I'll put a fair amount of glue on just to make sure. Although this thing fits in pretty tightly, I don't think it's going to just fall out on its own, but I just want to be sure. Alright, so there we go. This has been glued in place, and that is the end of issue 8. Wow, that was quite the marathon of stuff there. So, issue 8 is done. So, the next video will be, we'll go through what's in here, right? We'll go through the content in the magazine itself. And then after that, we'll get started on issue 9, which that gives us the battery pack. And so we can test the lights in the cockpit. So that's kind of cool, hopefully. They also give us these black strips to put in the around the thing in case to help with the light blocking. We may not need to put that in, but we'll have a look. And we get some more frame and all that kind of stuff. We'll see what all that happens in the next issue. So with that, I think I'm going to call this issue done. And what do you guys think? Hopefully you guys are impressed with it as I am, because I'm very happy with how the results came out. So at some point we'll put in our Dajerik table, and but this is what we got going so far. So looks pretty cool, I think. I'm very, like I said, I'm very happy with how these results came out. So thank you very much, everybody, and I hope you're all happy and safe. Everything that's going on in the world right now is pretty crazy, something that not many people have gone through. Anybody that's old enough to remember the last pandemic that was this bad was too young at the time, I'm sure, to remember what it was like. So we're talking about 22 years or 102 years ago. So there's not many people that are like 106 or 110 that can even remember any of that. Plus, if you're that old, your memory's probably a little bit shaky, especially for a time period when you're that young. So, thank you very much, and talk to you later. Bye.